Hello, and welcome to our Empower Your Outreach Spotlight, the art of mentorship. I'm Monica LaCrue, Affordable Lending Manager with Freddie Mac. I'm part of our real estate outreach team, and we work with diverse trade associations, real estate brands, and state and local associations to educate real estate professionals about our products, services, and tools. Becoming a real estate expert takes a special set of skills that guide you to engage, think, and most importantly, lead. Today, we're getting a glimpse inside the mind of Teresa Smith, Chief Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Officer with HomeServices of America. We want to explore what makes her a successful trailblazer, an inspiration, and more importantly, what it takes to get the most out of mentorship. I encourage you to connect with your peers in the chat. Share your experiences, ask questions, and expand your network. Our goal with these events is to discuss professional empowerment, business growth tactics, and enhancing the understanding of the housing industry and market in the current environment. Teresa Smith is the Chief Diversity and Equity Inclusion Officer with HomeServices of America. In her role, Teresa oversees the organization's commitment to employees and agent diversity programs. Teresa has over 20 years of real estate experience and is a frequent speaker, trainer at the national and local events across the country. Now, before we get started, I want to note that we're doing something very special today. We're going to be giving away a 30-minute one-on-one mentoring session with Teresa. For a chance to win, all you have to do is use the hashtag Empower Your Outreach when you submit your questions and comments in the chat. So again, hashtag Empower Your Outreach in your comments and questions in the chat. Stay tuned at the end of our discussion to see who wins. So without further ado, welcome, Teresa. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Wow, thank you so much, Monica. And I really do appreciate it. I'm so excited to be here. And already when we registered, I saw so many great people that I already know. So thank all of you for joining us today for this very special session.
Awesome. Thank you. So we'll jump right into it. Again, we're talking about mentorship. So Teresa, why is it a good idea to have a mentor, and what should you be looking for when finding one?
You know, it's a really good idea to have a mentor because of there's so many reasons. Number one, a mentor typically is someone can be older, can be younger than you, but somebody that's been there before, that's got experience or wisdom or knowledge in an area that you're trying to get expertise in, that you're trying to gain knowledge, and that you're trying to grow yourself personally in. You know, and the question that you ask is, you know, what do you need to do to get one, or how do you go about in choosing a mentor? You know, typically what I would recommend is that you find somebody that really does have experience in the area that you are looking to search more, more advice in, and also knowledge in, somebody that is got the time to help you with that. A lot of times mentors are very busy, and so making sure that someone is ready and willing and able to assist you, and also somebody that has that you are open with to again, I had turned my phone off and it keeps coming on. I think it's my watch, but somebody also that will allow you, give you true advice, and also be honest with you. Sometimes, you know, people don't want to hear, it's like tough love, right?
Yeah.
But also be honest with you and help you develop those skills, and that you also are very open to getting constructive criticism, because sometimes we're not always open to that. And I think that's really important.
No, I think you bring up a really good point. I mean, finding someone that has the type of business that you're looking to get into, especially here in real estate, you know, you might want somebody who specializes in maybe first-time home buyers, or someone who specializes in the luxury market or something like that. So finding someone who is successful in the niche that you want to get to is very important. So once you find a mentor and someone that you have engaged in a relationship with, how often do you think it would be a good time to meet with them?
Yeah, well, first of all, it's extremely important that you set guidelines as to how often you are going to meet with them from the very onset. So the first time you meet, the first time you talk to a mentor, you set those guidelines. Remember that time is valuable. So you have to keep your part of the bargain too. A lot of times I've had people that want to be mentored, and I'll say, okay, this is when I can mentor you. Oh yeah, I can do that. I'm gonna be available. But then the person will change their schedule, or, oh, I can't do it this time. I have, something come up. you really, it's very important that you keep your end and that you respect those timelines, because time is money for a lot of individuals. Based on the data, again, most mentors really should at least spend 1 hour per month, and you should have a mentor for at least a year. So, that way you can get a lot of, great knowledge from that and really learn from that mentor. So at least 1 hour per month, the data states, for a year is what I would say is really important, but it can range weekly to monthly.
Absolutely. I'm taking notes as you chat. Again, once a month for a year, really definitely a good way to start. So what's the best advice you can give to help plan a career as opposed to simply having a job? We're in real estate. It's all about the connections. We're building a career. This is something, trusted real estate agents or trusted advisors, they are the go-to for a lot of their clients. And so you are going to be wearing multiple hats as you're working as a real estate agent. So what are some ways that you can kind of give for new agents to make sure that they understand this is something that's going to be a career as opposed to it's just kind of like a job?
Right. And I love this question, whether you're a new agent, whether you're new as a lending or title. I think it's really important that you know what you're good at and what your talents are, right? What are your strengths? And then focus on the value that these can bring to any organization or as an entrepreneur, right? And then once you know what those strengths are, determine where you want to be and what roles you see yourself in. First of all, I think a business plan is really important. We're going to talk about that more in the as we continue with some of the questions. But start to course the path to get there. And if you don't have the opportunity in your current job to develop the skills that you need to get to where you want to be, go outside and volunteer in organizations that can help you develop those skill sets. That's what I had to do, because for me, I was in a role where I love what I did, but I realized I wanted to get into more leadership opportunities, but there wasn't within my company at the time, right? So for me, working with organizations like SHRM, which is the Society for Human Resource Management, the Georgia Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, and then NAHREP, the National Association of Hispanic Real Estate Professionals, that really helped me develop skills I needed to get the role that I'm in today. I've had the incredible opportunity to interview hundreds of women leaders on Women Who Lead Facebook series. And the advice I hear time and time again is really to go for it and to really understand, to sharpen your business in the areas that you may not be comfortable. It's really important that you really seek out leadership opportunities and set the goals from the very onset so that you know where you want to be. So that's how it's not just a job, it's really a career. Step into opportunities when the opportunity gets there. Like somebody offers it, don't be afraid, just do it. Sometimes even if you're scared to death, it's just better to try something new, because what you'll realize is that once you do that, you're going to learn even something totally new that you thought, oh my God, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm so comfortable where I am. That's where you need to do. Just jump in and do something that makes you totally uncomfortable, because by the end of that time, you realize you learn so much from those opportunities.
Absolutely. There's a quote that says, the comfort zone is a great place, but nothing grows there, right?
Right.
You want to make sure that you're putting yourself in situations that are going to continue to push the boundaries for yourself to figure out what you're, what you're most capable of. And so, obviously, you and I have known each other for quite a time now. Going back to the time where you did serve as NAHREP president. There are a lot of real estate associations that we work at Freddie Mac, and I know HomeServices of America as well works with the different trade associations. And they're great opportunities to not only network with real estate agents and loan officers to kind of grow your network and grow your business, but they're great ways to hone your leadership skills. So if you can share your success and opportunities that NAHREP has provided to you through your leadership, through the organization, and how it continues to kind of engage with your business even today.
Well, and Monica, you did mention from the very onset, and I think I told you, that I was involved with the Georgia Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, SHRM, NAHREP. These were all organizations, the Girl Scouts. I was also a Girl Scout leader. I was also a coach as a soccer. It doesn't matter where or how, just do it. just jump into it so you can develop those skills. I think for NARA, I'm going to tell you, because that, of course, is a very special organization for me. And, I love the organization for so many reasons. And I can spend hours talking about NARA, but it played a really critical role, in my life. And I'm going to try to keep it short. So the first event I had ever attended was actually recommended by Dan Forsman, my CEO at the time with Berkshire Hathaway Home Services Georgia Properties. At the time, it was Prudential Georgia Realty. He had actually started a chapter in Gainesville, Georgia. For those of you who are from Georgia, I hope we can see some of those people. And it had not it had failed, the chapter. And so he had told me, you need to go try out this organization. I wasn't familiar with NARA. And by the way, our CEO, Dan Forsman, was Caucasian, white male, but he was so, he was just like a forward thinker, and he was very passionate about growing opportunities in the homeownership space for Latinos and Hispanics. So he said, you need to go to this organization that is located in Denver. They're having a conference. It's called NARA. Like I said, I didn't know what the organization was about. I was already going to be the incoming chair. Now think about this, the incoming chair for the Georgia Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. We do a lot of work in that space. It was all working with minority small businesses that were Hispanic owned. So I said, okay, I'll go. He had to kind of force me into it because I was so busy and I had small kids. You all have been there, right? We've got small kids. We don't really have the time. But I said, okay, I'll take your recommendation. Dan, he won't shut up about it. So I went. It was a life-changing event. The minute I walked in to NARA, I knew my life was going to go into a different trajectory. And it was because with the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, I love that organization, developed my first leadership skills as their chair, but it also really held more, it was working with small businesses, whereas NAREP was really in my profession, that missing link of real estate combined with professionalism, combined with knowledge, with power, with masterminding, with networking, with meeting people like you and Carmen Mercado. I have to do a shout out to Carmen Mercado, right? So it was meeting these incredible people that really helped me develop even further. From that moment, I got in the elevator and was talking to a Stuart Title. And I remember Stuart Title because that's how impressed I was with everything. He explained to me that there was another guy that was visiting that conference in Georgia that I personally didn't meet, that also wanted to start a chapter and made me want to start a chapter in Atlanta because they were wanting to grow the organization. So I came back, contacted Bobby Armez. Bobby Armez said there's James Altimirano. He's also interested in starting a chapter. And we started the NAREP Atlanta chapter, which today is one of the top chapters in the country for NAREP. So just laying that foundation, I never knew that starting this, right? You never know what impact it will be. From there, I became president in 2010 for that chapter. The worst time to be president. But NAREP did something great. They set up mentorship and coaches with a guy by the name of Juan Martinez. That's when I first learned the critical importance of mentorship and coaching. And there's a little bit of a difference between both. We'll go through that in a second. But Juan Martinez, I was so wanting to just do so well. He had done something that no other chapter had done, is that grow the Las Vegas chapter. So he imparted on us wisdom on what we needed to do to turn our membership and our chapter around. And guess what I did? Everything he told me to do, I listened to. And I did have people that were naysayers. You're going to get that. You can't do it. You're crazy. That's not going to work in our market. Our market's different. Local, real estate is local. I did everything he said. And by the end of the year, we had grown our chapter by 400%.
Wow.
With our board, not just me alone, our board, we had done it. And that put me on the trajectory to become a board member with NAREP. And in 2015, I was elected as the NAREP national president. Now, why do I tell you this is all important? Because it's all like a little, like building blocks. From that experience, I met the current CEO who hired me, created a job for me. We didn't have a role for diversity, equity, and inclusion. And Gino Blafari, our CEO, said to me at HSF, you need to come do what you're doing for us on the national level, on a global level, and hired me for the role. Now think about that. You know, if you
Huge.
look at where I was and now where I am, I can't even believe it. But he saw the vision and he said, you need to do this for me. And Gino's been a huge what do you call it? The air with the wind beneath my
Beneath your
wings.
wings.
He's
Yeah.
elevated me to a role that's amazing from that one visit, from that one exposure to NARP. Now, why am I still involved with NARP? NARP is an incredible organization. It provides you with a lot of mastermind and opportunities. Really, one of the still critical partners in the NARP 10 principles that was created around the time that I was president. Gary Acosta really wanted to create principles that we could live by to help us create wealth and to be the very best in our own markets, right? In what we did.
Absolutely.
So he's actually created these principles. They have so many great tracks. They've got latitude, and it's about creating opportunities for others and also about home ownership. You know, that is their biggest mission, is increasing sustainable home ownership for the Latino community, for Hispanics. And so that's why I'm still involved in the organization. I'm committed. I'm a corporate board of governors member. I'm on several regions. And like I said, I probably, I get more from them than they get from me. You know, I just feel like it's such a value for our organization to be very involved with this group. And I know Freddie Mac, that's how I met Freddie Mac. So think about the connecting opportunities. People like Carmen Mercado, who was the president when I first stepped to my first meeting and said, I want to be just like her. And that's where I am.
Absolutely.
So anyway,
and I know that your story is not unique to yourself. I mean, there's many other organizations out there, ARIA, NAREP, or NAREP, VA Rep, the New Alliance, that have similar stories of people who have a passion for real estate in their community, walk into one of their national conventions and start to kind of feel and make those dots and connecting them together to make a difference. And they find themselves surrounded by people that share the same mission and passion they do. So I encourage you guys to reach out to the different trade associations, to engage with them and network with their members. Now, going back to kind of, real estate as a career, according to the 2021 NAR's member profile, the average number of years of experience that real estate agents have is 8. And we know that sometimes the life cycle is a little even less than that. And so, you know, what kind of encouragement can you give, given especially in the current market that we are now and the competitiveness that it has? What kind of encouragement can you give to new agents to kind of continue to stay in the business and grow their network?
Well, I mean, again, that is such a great statistic. And before I move to this question, I do want to also give a shout out to the organizations that you mentioned and how critical that we're involved with all of the ones that you mentioned, the LGBTQ plus Real Estate Alliance Group, the VA-REP, the Women Council Realtors, all of the NAWRB, all these organizations are incredible because of whatever you want to really kind of whatever you're passionate about, they're all going to be able to provide you those opportunities, including ARIA. I know that, Monica, you were part of ARIA, NARAB, all of those groups are really passions for me as well. Okay, so patience is a virtue, okay? I don't have patience, but you have to be patient, right, when you get into real estate, because it does take a lot of commitment and you really have to approach each day as such. You have to work hard. You have to start with a business plan. People don't realize, why do I need a business? It is so critical because you need to set goals from the very beginning. I want to close 10 deals this year. I want to close 10 deals a month. I want to close 100 deals. You have to know what your goals are and how you're going to get there. And there are a lot of great companies, ours in particular, we will help you put together that business plan so that you can get your day started and organized. And based on the goals, you need to work that plan and begin early to build your brand. And when I say early, not 10 a.m. rolling into the office or 10 a.m. getting on a Zoom call, you need to work it and start early and manage your calendar. Attend all the training that is offered for free to help when you develop your skills. And that is one thing that I think is really wonderful about great tools. A lot of companies will offer you a phenomenal resources that you're able to access. A lot of people don't use those resources. Use them. They are free. Warren Buffett will say the best investment you will ever make is in yourself. So invest in learning. And remember, that's going to be critical. I do have to give a shout out to Freddie Mac and to the company that that you're with, because you guys offer a lot of great tools that are available at FreddieMac.com, right? It's myhome.FreddieMac.com, I think, if I remember correctly.
Yep.
You've got Credit Smart. You've got translated documents that your clients can use. You've got home buyer education that's available, because you got to get an edge no matter what you do. You got to, you got your resource center. All of these things are able to help you provide resources to your clients. You also have to sit and do, I wouldn't practice your scripts. I know that sounds redundant. People don't do that. You need to understand it's really hard. And I made a lot of mistakes when I would start. It's okay to make 100 mistakes. Calling people, doing whatever you need to do, because that's the only way you're going to learn. But you also have to put your friend hat and your realtor hat into a different bucket, because a lot of times people get upset when, and we're talking about real estate, title, wherever you're in, you'll call your friends and you'll start chatting, and that's okay. But you also have to realize and let them know, this is my business.
Yep.
This is my area of expertise. And you got to become an expert in the knowledge of real estate. And when you call them, you have to say, it was great talking to you, but I'm going to put my realtor hat on right now for you. I have to say, Alan Dalton, who is our Senior Vice President of Research and Development, he's just an incredible resource. And he's developed a lot of scripts that you can access online on YouTube that are incredible, and practice them, because they are great resources that you're able to access for free. Gino Blafari, also our CEO, provides success scripts and tips as well. So if you go on the chat and put your email in there, or send me an email, Teresa Smith at HomeServices.com, I can get those to you for free so that you're able to use that. You need to get on the phone, get on social media. I know all this is important, right? And provide guidance in the process, and then shadow experience realtors in the office. A lot of times, one of the things that you'll learn, and we have a great agent that Ivan Savant, that used to brand new in the business from another country. He's from India, and he didn't have clients here. So what he would do is go to whoever was in the office, say, hey, let me sit in on your open houses. I'll sit in on open houses. I'll do whatever you need me to do. He developed such a huge following because he would follow up on the open house opportunities. He became the #1 rookie of the year the first year that he was in business, knowing no one in the business, and now is a huge top performer. So remember to volunteer, mastermind with as many agents as you can, and let them know that you're willing to pay them a referral fee for business that they may not be able to handle, because it's all about that. And then I'm not finished. Build a powerful team. So, a lot of times, go to new lenders, go to new insurance people that are like you, warranty companies, relocation. Go to your relocation department and say, hey, I'll help renters out so I can make, so that I can make extra
building
money.
your buyer pipeline with those renters.
And get a new pipeline together. Inspectors, stagers, experts in feng shui, modernizing a home, renovation experts, landscapers, and offer them, hey, I'd love for you to provide us a tip on anyone that I've got in my pipeline that can help them, so that you can start to develop an expertise and a knowledge. Absolutely. And again, be an expert on all the tools that are available in your resource library and use them.
And again,
And then last but
those are
not
all
least,
free too,
last
right?
one, say, yep, all these great, like the ones I just said, and join organizations that are going to help you develop those skills and also mastermind and network. One last thing,
Yeah, go
if
ahead.
you're a real estate agent, remember it's just not local. Think about everyone that's outside of your market. Is it your cousin that lives in New York and you're in Atlanta? They just got married. Guess what? They're probably going to need a house. And you can say, look, I don't work in your market, but I have an agent. We have a network of phenomenal agents that I've met through my organizations, through my own company. I'd love to get you with an experience, because they're
Yep.
going to think you're not experienced. You don't have that yet. An experienced agent that's going to be able to help you find the right home. I'm not in the process. You don't have to tell me, because sometimes there's privacy. People don't want to share a
Yeah.
lot of stuff. I said, I won't be in all that, but you're going to get the very best within our company that can help you develop those skills and then get paid a referral fee. That's how you get started getting money together, pipelining, and growing your sphere.
Absolutely. Again, Teresa, you're giving all of these great tips. I'm still taking notes. Again, if you guys want that one-on-one 30-minute session with Teresa, I encourage you, again, use that hashtag Empower Your Outreach in the chat for your chance to win a 30-minute one-on-one session with Teresa. Again, use the hashtag. So gonna turn a bit to talk about, I mean, you kind of already gave us some tools and ways that you can find mentors and outside of your office. But are there any other areas in which you can go? One question that we're getting from the chat is, where should they be networking? Where are they going to meet people outside of their office, other than just in the real estate industry, that they could expand their network into?
Well, again, it depends on what you want, what your goals are. Remember, we talked about that. And then seek organizations that can provide you with that expertise, and seek out people that wow, she's really good at this area. I'm going to reach out to her. But remember one thing. There's a book called Lean In by Sheryl Sandberg. One thing
Good
she
book.
said, and this happened to me a lot, I had mentors that I never actually had conversations with. Now it's so easy. I followed them. I
Yep.
saw what they did. I was on Twitter and Instagram and LinkedIn to see where they are, where are they speaking, because a lot of you can do for free. You don't have to spend money, because we don't have any money when we first get started. I know there,
Right.
I've been there. So all these things, follow people. My mentors, Carmen Mercado, I consider a mentor,
Me
but
too.
I never actually one-on-one with her until I got to know her a lot better, because again, I knew she was busy. There are a lot of people that can mentor you just by following them, not by actually doing that one-on-one. So keep that in mind. Follow people, learn from their experiences, and then go to organizations and seek those people out. But also, there's a lot of great mentorship organizations out there that are nonprofits that will offer you. There's a women's clubs. There's a lot of Girl Scouts, not Girl Scout, girl clubs, depending on who you are, that will pair you up with a mentor that can help you develop those skills as well.
Absolutely. And I mean, we're here, we're on LinkedIn Live. That's another great platform. I follow a lot of women leaders in particular that are offering tips and tricks and different things that they're posting. And that is definitely a way of mentorship as well. So, you read what they write. You might not be having, like you said, one-on-one personal conversations with them, but they're offering tools and insights that you can utilize that are going to impact your business and start making an impact. You kind of hinted at this, but we want to definitely get into the crux of it. What is the difference between a coach and a mentor?
Well, that is a great question too, because again, we talked about Juan Martinez and the value that he brought. And actually, Juan is actually both. He does coaching and mentoring. So typically, mentors share their knowledge, skills, and expertise to be able to help you grow and develop, but they're typically not formally trained in coaching, right? They're typically people that have just done the work and actually have experienced whatever that, they know it because they've done it, right?
Mhm.
And so they offer that usually at no cost. I mean, a mentor usually will just take you on and they don't charge anything. A coach typically provides coaching as a full-time job. So this is
Got
their
it.
job. They are typically, they're often trained by an organization or an institute that, many times they are paid for their knowledge, and they also help you achieve your goals and keep you accountable. So they're going to say, okay, what are your goals? What do you want? How do you want to reach them? You're paying them for that time. Whereas a mentor, typically you're not paying. They're giving you their time for free. See how valuable that is? They're giving that time without you having to pay for coaching. And I recommend both.
Yep.
Coaches can be extremely valuable to helping you reach those goals that you need to reach
Awesome.
and
Yeah.
keeping you accountable, right?
Very, very, very true. Now I know, Teresa, you're in a space right now. You are a mentor, and you are doing a lot of outreach, especially in the pandemic. Brought us a lot of chances to engage on social media and whatnot. And you launched something in particular over the last few years, and that is kind of beneficial to women in particular. I'd love for you to be able to share some insights on what you're doing with your Women Who Lead series and how that's increased your outreach when it comes to mentorship.
Well, yeah, I love that you mentioned this. So we do about 2 years ago. Actually, I've done Women Who Lead. So Women Who Lead was an idea where I wanted to bring in, we have so many CEOs and so many powerful women in different roles, operational roles, behind the scenes. In fact, right here on this behind the scenes, we had two incredible leaders that help us put this program together that you don't even see, right? Because they're behind the scenes. So I wanted to be able to share with our audiences, with all of the community, all the different roles that real estate has to offer. Because
Mm-hmm.
sometimes people think it's only as a independent contractor or as a sales where you're on commission only. But there's tech jobs, there's IT jobs, there's operational excellence, there's behind the scenes, there's event planning, there's coaching, there's business consulting. There's so many people that are in high positions that we wanted the exposure of those individuals to how they got there. And so that was the idea behind Women Who Lead. And also because when I was growing up as a Latina, I didn't really have any role models that I could look up to other than my mother. And my mother was an incredible resource, an incredible force, but she was a stay-at-home mother. And so, I actually loved when I saw, in an article that that we had somebody that looked like me that was just an amazing person, and that was Wonder Woman, right? And I just remember seeing her, and that's Linda Carter, by the way, in case you don't, the first Wonder Woman, she was Latina. And I thought, wow, this is an amazing person who's Latina, who's in the television industry, but she shared her story. And that just made me realize I could do anything. I know it just took me through some really tough times when I was in high school that really helped me develop myself. And then I saw Oprah Winfrey talk about how when she saw Sidney Poitier get an award for Best Actor and how it kind of enlightened her. So I wanted to bring women specifically, that could enlighten other women and provide them with, aha moments. How I love that she also faced adversity or that she had challenges as well. And so that's what the show is about. It's about leaders in our industry that we bring in to share their leadership skills, their experiences. You can tell I love it. And what knowledge they can share upon all of you to help you get that confidence behind you, that excitement, that passion to say, okay, I can do that. I see myself in that person. I'm like her, and I'm going to go for it. That's the biggest thing. So I think that's what the whole series, and now it's developed into a podcast. So we've got our Facebook Live series, and then we also have our podcast as well. And the wonderful, I'm telling you, I cry at the show. I just, the women that are on there, you think they're like CEOs, they're presidents, and they're just as genuine and wonderful, and they're just as real Many of them have different personalities on how they operate, but in the end, they all want to share their experiences to empower other women.
Absolutely. What a great platform. I know our team is working behind the scenes to put those links in the chat. So please subscribe, like those pages, bookmark them, tune in, subscribe to make sure that you're hearing from, again, other women in the industry that are kind of going to offer tips and tricks. And who knows, maybe you might meet your next mentor on one of those shows.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
We're going to start winding down our discussion here and get to our raffle in a bit, but want to get to know Teresa a little bit more and wanted to see, Teresa, what are the top 3 goals that a new agent should work towards when they start their business?
And I think I mentioned one already, that business plan. That, is really important that you create a business plan with your goals and be accountable, right, to those. You got to educate because education is power. Really understand the why. Why am I doing this? The why behind why you want to do what you're doing so that the how becomes easy. All right. Because once you know the why, it's easy to continue to work hard and move forward. Become a master negotiator and problem solver. Learn all the tools in your arsenal. And closing that first deal is critical as it gains you confidence to close that next deal. And I have to share our CEO, Gino Blafari. He actually, when he started the business, he did not close a single deal for 6 months. He trained, he took every class, he knew every script by heart. He was down to his last dollar. And he said, you know what? I'm getting out of the business. I can't do this. I'm not good at it. It's really hard for me. And he said, all of a sudden, he got a deal. And that deal said, okay, I'm going to get out of the business after this. That deal closed. That first deal business skyrocketed after that first deal. He sold his real estate company to Warren Buffett.
Wow.
After wanting to give out and give up because he felt like he just wasn't getting any traction. So, again, study and learn your trade, and very important that you be authentic in your business. Be authentic and really bring solutions, because that's going to help your clients when you know that you're there to really help them with their whatever it is, whether it's a loan, whether it's a title, whether it's a real estate transaction.
This is a good question, and coming from the chat. Teresa, do you ever find yourself wanting to do everything? What is the great opportunities for you to learn from, and how do you choose? As women, there is one of those things, how do you manage it all, sort of a question, but, how do you find balance in your life?
There's no such thing as balance. It's so hard to do it. It really is. That's the first thing. Remember, you really have to know a powerful word, and that's no. Okay. I cannot do it. I thank you so much for the opportunity, but you have to keep a calendar and remember those goals. If it's not going to help you achieve a goal, you have to think twice about whether or not you can actually do something. So learning to say no is the first thing. And also I think it's really important for you to know what are your priorities. For me, when I first started in the real estate business, it was to get my kids. I wanted to still be a full-time mom or to be able to operate as a mother, because that was important. As Latina, that was more important to me than anything else. I lost my mom when I was 18 years old, and my sisters were just 12. So for us, having a mother that was able to provide guidance and be there as much as possible was really critical. I was actually a PTA mom. I was a Girl Scout leader, as you heard me say. I was actually a coach. I coached soccer for my kids. I wanted to be there, so I couldn't do it all. But guess what? Once my kids were at an age where I knew that, hey, I'd done what I had set to do, I could go full force on my career, and that's what I did. So I bloomed a little later, but I absolutely realized that value of that time spent with my kids, they're incredible kids. I love my 2 children, was well worth it. And now I'm where I want to be. So that's my best advice.
Absolutely. So, and then we had a conversation while we were prepping for this call What are the top 3 books that you would suggest? I know you shared that you found an avenue for you to get your reading in. You want to share what that is?
Yes, I hate reading. I'm not a reader at all. People always say, "What?" I find it so difficult to concentrate on a book, but I realize how important books are. Now, if they're short reads, I love those easy book reads. But there's 2 apps out there that are incredible that I absolutely love because it's made me a reader, whether or not one of them is Audible and one is Blinkist. So Audible provides you, it's available. You can do it. You can subscribe to so many books and pay just one fee a year, or you can just buy per book depending on what you want to do. So Audible and Blinkist, what it does is it allows you to get the main message of any book that you want to kind of read, so that it's a shorter version, 15 minutes to 20 minutes of a particular, they've narrowed it down to the main points of a book. So both of those are great resources. And if you like the Blinkist portion, then you can buy the Audible, right? So you can try Blinkist, and then again, they're both subscriptions, but they're very affordable. There are a couple books that that I like that are fantastic. One of them is You Are a Badass by Jen Sincero. And I like that book because it talks about creating confidence for many of us. And I, being a Latina, sometimes that was difficult for me to develop my confidence because I grew up in a male-dominated environment. And, it was all women, but my dad really dominated, had that personality, right? So that one is really good. The Greatest Salesman in the World by Agma Mandino is an excellent book about sales and just a spiritual deep book that I think is fantastic. The Richest Man in Babylon is also very similar to that. And there's a book called The Slight Edge by Jeff Olson that will provide you with a lot of great tips on how to become the best at your whatever area that you want to focus in altogether. So those are some great books that I want to recommend. I think I did more than
Awesome.
3, but like you
That's
say,
okay.
I really love books now. So
Yeah. Great. Well, we're wrapping up our conversation now. We're going to start doing our raffle. And so again, anybody who used the hashtag Empower Your Outreach, we're going to offer you guys a chance for a one-on-one 30-minute session with Teresa Smith to continue the conversation, to be a sponge. She's probably going to offer as much more advice than she did here for you to engage in the industry, grow your business, create those buyer pipelines, and add value there. So I know our team is working to finalize the raffle there. But while we wait for our winner, Teresa, I know you have an exciting opportunity to share in addition to your one-on-one session.
yes, I do. And one of the exciting things that I have had in my life is Gino Bafari, our CEO. He's the CEO of HomeServices of America. And I have one-on-ones, accountability calls with him. And one of the things I said, hey, I'm going to be on the Freddie Mac program. I'm really excited about it. And he goes, well, I want to do something too. And I said, you do it? He goes, yeah, I will do a 30-minute free mentorship call as well. So I'm excited to be able to offer a mentorship with our CEO, Gino Blafari, for anyone that also is interested in that. So again, I'm excited about that because it's really his time. If you can imagine, he's on so many calls, but for him to do that, that's how passionate he is about mentorship, empowering, and how much he loves Freddie Mac, because again, you guys are a great partner for us.
We definitely value that partnership, Teresa. Thank you so much for your time today. I know our team is working behind the scenes and background. I'm not sure if we're going to make the announcement on the LinkedIn Live, just waiting for them to drop the name in the chat. If not, I'm sure you guys are seeing it there on the live end of the LinkedIn Live for that. If not, we can get back to the winners and whatnot. So in closing, Teresa, is there anything that you would like to say as we wrap up our session? Again, thank you so much for your time.
I think primarily that it's really about giving back, and it's really, I think a lot of people will say, well, why would anybody want to mentor, or why? I think there in all of us, there's an innate wanting to help, and also wanting to share our successes with others, as well as the things that happened or that we didn't do well, right? We all kind of want that. So don't be afraid to ask somebody, but also if they don't have the time, it's okay. Don't take it personally. Go to somebody else. There's so many people out there that are willing to mentor, that will have the time, that will want to help you develop those skills, but know what you want and keep yourself, make sure that you keep that time commitment, because that will be the number one thing that will help you develop into an individual, into somebody that reach the goals they want to reach.
Awesome. I'm going to leave you guys with with the 3 takeaways that I learned from this session today. Is a mentor is good to meet with once a month, and you should give them a year of mentorship. Creating a business plan and holding to it, sticking to it, making sure that you're holding yourself accountable, and discovering your why. And that might change. I definitely think that throughout my career, that why has definitely changed as well, but staying in tune with the reason and the passion behind it. So it looks like Joel's our winner. So thank you, Joel. We'll be in contact to schedule that with you. And we'll be reaching out to the second winner for us to schedule those one-on-one sessions. So again, for those still left in the chat, connect, follow people, stay engaged with us. We welcome the next one, and we'll see you on the next spotlight. Thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you.
Thanks, Monica, and thanks, everyone.